just a cross country track, but there's so much more than that. And like actually what happened in the community is so much more powerful. And what that means in that connection is that's amazing. You guys did that and pulled that off. I'm Tyler Simmons. Welcome to In the Yard, a Western States podcast, where we dig into the heavy equipment industry, from the machines that move mountains to the people who put them to work. Let's explore how the world of yellow iron builds our communities for a better tomorrow. Thank you guys for joining us. Much appreciated. Let's do a quick round of introductions so the audience kind of knows who we have here first. And Dan, let's start with you down there.
I'm Dan Stoddard. I'm the assistant rental manager in Pocatello. I've been with Western States CAT for 26 years and love it, loving every minute of it.
Sam McKee, I own McKee Construction, and Dan and I have been working together for 26 years.
Yeah, or more.
And yeah, I'm the contractor here, and I work here at ISU. I work all over the state, so.
That's awesome. Cool. Thank you. And I'm Crew Keller. I'm the Senior Associate Athletic Director here at Idaho State University. I've been there for just over 3 years.
Oh, that's awesome. So Crew, first off, we're sitting in a pretty cool environment right now. Tell us where we're at and kind of where we're sitting here and where we're sitting in the facility.
Yeah. So we're inside the ICCU Dome. Used to be named Holt Arena ASISU Mini Dome. And we're up in the President's Deck. It's a very special space, overlooks the field. It's a premium viewing experience for home football games and even for track meets too when we host those.
That's pretty cool. So I've gotten to know ISU the past day or so. Like I'm from Boise region, right? So not super familiar. ISU has been on quite a journey the past couple of years, right? We're building again some stuff put together. Tell me a little bit about the journey ISU's on and what the athletic department's doing and kind of your guys' vision and where you guys are going.
Yeah, no, a really good question. And from an outsider's perspective, the last handful of years, we've worked on, and we take great pride in it, a capital project every single year. And we've been knocking them out one by one. And I hope that people within Southeast Idaho, you know, Sam, Dan, and others can see that, because we've really tried to bust our back to make a better student athlete experience and create a product, you know, that our community is proud of, because everything that we do at this university, it does tie back to athletics. And athletics has a direct hand into success of the university and the university in the community. And so we've definitely seen a need, whether that's, you know, adding turf out at softball, whether it's renovating this space that we're in. We just did this, you know, 3 years ago, even to building, you know, a community-centered space with the cross-country course, something that will certainly benefit our cross-country teams, but also, you know, the local runners and those who are maybe competing at the middle school or high school level, and then those that just want to go out and enjoy some recreation. But we've taken a lot of that upon ourselves to say, hey, we need to be better. And as you can gather, we're a very competitive group within the Big Sky. And so we say, hey, you know, if we're going to field teams, we want to be the best ones out there. And so that's driven a lot of the why behind what we did.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And you can feel the energy just in the arena here, and then also just kind of the community and some positive things that are happening. So it's really cool to see how that's kind of all stacking together from my perspective. But Dan, you've been around Pocatello in this region for a long time. So what does ISU mean to you, and kind of what has your involvement with ISU been like over the past couple of years?
I love driving through campus and looking at the projects that we've been able to help build. The renovation here, you know, years ago, the Performing Arts Center was a big project here on campus that Western States had the opportunity to be involved with having our equipment on site. The softball field we helped build originally, and so we've been involved in that. And this cross-country course was built originally, 2002?
2002.
And Western States was involved in building the original course, so thrilled to be able to help again. But I like my job. One thing I love about my job is just helping build stuff and improving the environment, improving our communities. And so it's really fun to walk through ISU and just see, oh, I remember when they added on to this building, or they built the Rendezvous Center, or a lot of my career was right here on campus. And so that's fun. I also was in the high school marching band. We practiced here every day in the fall. All the home football games were here in Holt Arena, or the mini dome, we called it then. And so I got some pretty deep roots right here on campus, and So it's fun to still be involved and continue that support, kind of as an alumni and as a community member.
Yeah. You know, Dan, that's really cool to kind of like growing up, because you grew up in Chubbuck, right? Just kind of on the other side there. And just to kind of be part of the community and going to school there. So I grew up in Idaho Falls, and I played football for Idaho Falls High School.
Oh yeah.
Right.
So you've played here.
I played here on the turf too, right, in high school too. So I can I get the same kind of feeling, right? I walked in and I'm like, oh, hang on, wait, this reminds a lot. And the orange and the black from Idaho Falls High matches here. Just a lot of good memories there, and kind of that enjoyment of that piece of it for sure. So Dan, I totally can relate to that connection. And so Sam, tell me a little bit about your story with Idaho State and kind of your connection with Idaho State and what's going on there as well.
Well, I come from a pretty decent sized family. We've been here for ages, you know what I mean? And like I say, my grandfather homesteaded where I currently live now. My daughter, she graduated, I think a year ago, last spring, and she's a third generation alumnus here in my own family, my wife and her mother. And I went to school here for a little while at ISU until I decided that's where I've got to go. And then, anyway, but yeah, I've been involved with several of these projects that Dan mentioned, you know, both on my own as my company or under a contractor, a general contractor that has responsibilities here at ISU, and they call us to come in and do our job, you know what I mean? And so I've helped, and I've tore out the ramps down here and replaced them, and I've had a pile of dirt in the middle of this arena that was pretty big. Can you be amazed at what you can put on the floor to clean it back up again? But yeah, we helped with the whole remodel and with this and the air conditioning units and demos, and I mean we've been all over this ISU campus. And my crew, they like ISU. They like the way it moves. They like working here, and the people here are great to work with. You know, and again, same thing. My history is, you know, as my family. I'm the last of 10 kids, and several of them went through ISU. So. Of my brothers and sisters. So, wow. You know, we've been here for a while, and then Kat's always been somebody we worked with for forever. I don't know. I don't even remember not knowing Dan, actually. Once we started into this industry, I mean, my company's been in business for 30 years, and they've been there the whole time helping us. You know, I always say I'm not a cat person, but 98% of the equipment I have is cat.
Perfect. So, I mean, it's funny I say that because I've always said that to Dad. He's like, yeah, right.
But I enjoy the partnership and the camaraderie, and like I say, you know, as we were talking before, you know, if I get into something I can't figure out, I call Dan. He helps me figure out a way to get to do the project with the right equipment and what works and what doesn't. And it's been really nice, a good partnership. I mean, Kat's been good for us, and we've been working here at ISU, and it's just kind of a good. It makes it fun. I mean, that's why we do this, is have some fun and make a little money, right?
That's cool. I think the coolest thing too, that kind of talking through this, is it's very much community and a relationship style business or environment still, right? In partnerships, and listening to all three of you guys walk through kind of the vision and your guys' connection with ISU, what's going on there. That community theme is super strong, right? Of what's going on there with Idaho State.
It is now.
Yeah, super strong. Was it always that way?
I don't think so. You know, I think ISU has had its ups and downs, and there was a time where ISU went through a phase where everybody's like, "Oh man, you know, we're working around ISU, or we're, you know." But now I think this administration that's here, and like I say, Crew is really good at what he does. He helps you see the vision, and he helps you see how we can get it done, you know. And sometimes you come to the point where you go, well, how do we do this? And the administration works you through it, Pauline. But she's just very, like I say, approachable, very easy to work with, you know. In that they also, you know, you're required to do some things, you know, but it's just fun to get. It's like a family or a team that comes together, and like we did that cross country course, it was really easy to say, hey, I got some friends.
You are, yeah. And Crew's like, really? Like, well, I don't have much budget. And I got some friends.
And then we just went to work and asked a few people around, and man, he stepped up to the plate, and Cat was a big portion of that. Stepped up to the plate, and if I needed something, it was there.
That's all.
Like, not even a little bit there. It was there, like the next day or that day.
It was that day.
It was
It
amazing.
was Dan, and it's the
Dan was all over that, and so he took his, you know, his part seriously, and man, it made things roll.
That's pretty cool. I would add to, when you talk about community, it's something that we take, again, a lot of pride in, because we are, I would argue, a smaller community in Pocatello and Chubbuck. And it's going to take all of us, to invest in ISU, in higher education, and in athletics to really turn this around and keep building on what we're doing. And this project is a great example of that. When Sam says that it's he and a few friends that did this, I kept track, and it was 35 different entities, Sam, that jumped on board with this, and with exception of Western States CAT, all were new in terms of philanthropy to ISU, which was really, really incredible. A lot of groups that had been involved with ISU in some capacity and been in the community, but, had never necessarily done something charitable. And so to get them online with this project was incredibly moving, and that's what got this done.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So let's unpack the project a little bit more, right? So what was the project that was, from an ISU perspective, what was the project, and what does it mean to ISU athletics?
That, without being too blunt, the project was, let's build a new cross-country course. For background, we do have one. The renovated courses on that same plot of land. It was built, as Dan mentioned, in 2002. At the time, it was a great cross-country course. But over the past couple of years, opposing teams had no desire to run there. It was too difficult, too narrow, and it just wasn't cutting it. So much so that when we hosted the Big Sky Conference Championship, we actually had to run off-site. We ran at a country club here in town, and it just wasn't the same. It wasn't how the sport was intended. And so, about a year ago, our director of cross country and track and field, she approached myself and Pauline, along with our cross country coach, and said, "Hey, we need to do something. We need to fix this." And I think it had been on our docket for a while as a project that we needed to get to. But you're looking at, a $750,000 million project, which in this current state, financially that would be tough to come by for cross country. But again, the director, she said, "Hey, we need to make this happen." So we're like, all right, we're going to give it a shot. We're going to try our best. And lo and behold, with a lot of community support, we have done that. But it all started with these two gentlemen right next to me. I think Sam was probably the first call I made, and then Dan was the second.
It started with Terrell.
Well, yeah.
It started with in-house. You went in-house just to see what you can do with part of your programs that you have that ISU offered in Village yourself. And a friend of mine, Terrell Anderson, I'll mention his name because he's a great friend of mine, and we've been together for years, with families and doing stuff together. He didn't even want to go there. Let's get anyway. But he's the one that, you went to it. He's like, "I know this guy." Right. And I got roped into it.
Yeah.
So you got the first call, Sam.
Yeah.
So what was that first call like when Terrell called?
He says, "I need you to come meet me out here, and I need to look at something because I think this is something that for one, ISU needs, and I think that you're the guy to do it, And so I had really no idea what I was getting into, and then I got to meet Crew and Dave and your cross-country team, your coaches and Terrell, and we walked through the old course, and I'm like, oh man, And then Crew starts saying, well, we have some perimeters like this that we need to have, and steepness was a lot of it, length was a lot of it, what are the options, can we build something that's versatile, And so as we walked through that, then I kind of started, yes, I did. And when I got done, we sat there and talked about it, and I said, this is a really unique spot. It's like, what do you mean? I don't think that everybody saw this, at least what I saw the first day when I was up there until after we got done talking, but I'm like, this is the only cross-country course you'll be able to see from start to finish. It is. I mean, it is the only one anywhere. I mean, usually you take a cross-country, somebody runs cross-country, you go drop them off in the parking lot, come back 2 hours later, hey, did you win?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or you're chasing them with a golf cart, or you're chasing them with a drone or something. This course, you can actually stand up there and talk to people that are running out on the course. They can hear you. depending on how loud it is, but for the most part, they can hear you when the cross country team, they came and ran while we were partially done, which was a hoot. We just stopped the equipment, they'd run through, we go back to work again. It was hilarious, and they were so excited about what we were doing for them, and it was very gratifying, you might say. But you could talk to them and say, "Hey, you turned the wrong way. Oh, sorry." And I mean, they were on the far end of the course, and so this is a really unique course. The fact that you can see the whole thing, you know what I mean? And back to the whole program, I think after we got done talking, and I got to see what the needs were, and then I said, "Crew, well, what's your budget?" And he goes, $0.00. And then we just sat there. Well, what do we do? I says, "Well, I got some friends, you know." And that's when I told you, call Cat, call. I mean, I gave a list to Crew, and he went to work. And bless his heart, he did a really good job presenting. Some of the people that we got to come, I actually told Crew, I don't know, it's pretty tough. And the next thing I know, yeah, they're gonna donate. All right, you know. But anyway, it worked together, and but the vision was cool, and it's something that, even though cross country doesn't produce a lot financially for ISU, it's something that the community can use. So my whole vision on this was, okay, as long as the community can use this course with it, you know what I mean? And so even before we got completely done, there was probably 100 people over there a day on this course. I don't know now, I think there's a lot more, but they actually use it. The community now uses it. I mean, I talk to people, "Oh yeah, that course over there, you had something to do with that?" "Yeah, well, we go and walk that every morning at 5 o'clock or something, you know." And I thought, well, what a great thing that our community needs, because exercise is a big deal, you know, and people are trying to get more healthy, and our community needs something that ISU has or involved with, that says, "Hey, we're here to stay. We need your support." On the other side of that, though, I didn't realize that how much that donations and things like that help ISU. I did not realize. Crew had to teach me that. I did not realize you would not have an athletic program if nobody donated. It was a part, you know. And if we and even though there's big people like ICCU that come in and step in there, or you know, even Cat's a big donator for ISU. You know, they need little guys like me. You know what I mean? And little guys like me, even though I don't have a billion-dollar company, it's just a little mom and pop. We scratch it out every day. You know what I mean? I mean, Pocatello, this community, this is what we got, and this administration is a great administration. I had President Wagner and a piece of equipment with me. He thought that was cool. It was cool, and it gave him a part of ownership and what's really going down, And so I think it's important that, we as a community need to get behind ISU, and like I say, Cat's been here forever, and the big part of everything, just to be a supporter here.
That's very cool. Yeah. So Dan, real quick, so you got the second phone call, I'm assuming. So what did that first phone call look like to you, Dan, from a Western States perspective?
Oh, Crew was great about, we got this idea. I don't know if it's going to work, but you tell me. Mm-hmm. And the concept was great. I mean, it was a sound idea, and I remember it was early in my career at Western States when we built that course in the first place, but I was involved a little bit, and I remember that, and I was all in. And there's some things that we were able to do, not only build a course, but we were able to host a demonstration day on campus where we brought our customers out to the project, and we were able to test and use equipment with the GPS technology integrated and introduce them to the process. So we were able to use the maps that were built, in tandem with a benefit for our clients to come and see what the technology can do. So yeah, I was just excited for the opportunity. I went and talked to Kelly Olson, our company president, and showed her what we were trying to do. And she was like, yeah, that's great, let's go. And so with her support and the support of everyone in Pocatello and our technology team and everybody else, we were like, yeah, this is gonna be good. So it worked out great, we were excited. We talked about the community involvement, 35 different organizations in building it. I don't think that includes the departments on campus that were involved. Sam talked about Taro Anderson. He's the diesel technology instructor at the College of Technology, which is right across the street. One of their buildings is across the street from the course. And they played a big part in keeping the machines running. They helped us a lot with service, and some of the students were able to be involved in the building.
Starting line. Students built the starting line. It was
They integrated that, Tyler, into their coursework.
desks. Yeah, with
You had a faculty member over there, Taro, who said, "Hey, we're going to build this into your curriculum, and you're going to help out Sam with this course." Which, again, when you talk about other entities on campus and off of saying, "Hey, let's do this," they were critical to this whole project, and it was really neat to just see that component added in.
And the engineering department, who else on campus helped you?
The other big one, College of Science and Engineering, but also our ISU facilities team, they were huge in getting this done. Working there with you, Sam, and just making sure that everything was squared away, whether it was, hey, we need to get this permit, or we need to run these plans by somebody. They said, hey, we're happy to do this. I see the work that you and so many others are putting in. We're going to do whatever we can to get this across the finish line.
So that's pretty cool when you look at it from like outside, you look at the whole perspective, right? You had 35 different companies coming together to provide. You had students being engaged and instructors being engaged to put it in the curriculum, right? And you stack this whole thing together to the vision that you guys have for athletics, for ISU to start bringing more people in and stacking that piece to grow the community overall together. I mean, it's so cool to see this thing it's just a cross country track, but there's so much more than that. And actually what happened in the community is so much more powerful. And what that means in that connection that's amazing. You guys did that and pulled that off. Was that the intention when you started, or is that just kind of what happened?
I need to interject a little bit. First of all, when we did this, the whole idea was to build it with students.
Okay.
That's how it started out.
Okay.
Which was a huge ask on my part, because I mean, even though we had SciTech, we had all these people in place, we had GPS stuff, we had engineering going, we had all that going, you still had to take a student that never, maybe we had very little experience at all, and go through all the safe operations and stuff, because that's the other thing about Dan. Even when Crew called him, he goes, okay, if I donate equipment, we need to have a contractor that's like a CAT certified or whatever. He mentioned my name, it was like, okay, you're done, then we're good. You know what I mean? So thankfully, through the years and things that I've learned, and I hopefully it's safe operations and all that. So we had to go teach these kids how to do it safely and not hurt themselves, hurt the equipment, or anyway. So we'd have to go do a little classroom situation, and we could take it back out to their trial ground right there before we hit the course even. And this is now their new trial ground, so they can get a piece of equipment and go run it, and it's part of their curriculum now. And they have a GPS program now that works on not just talk about it, but they physically have set it up, fixed it, worked through the bugs on it, and things like that happen out there, even with the new equipment and stuff. So it was a challenge to take those kids and go out and build a course. And for a while there, every 2 hours I got a new kid. So every 2 hours we'd flip them, and I'd have a different person in the equipment. So as you can imagine, it didn't go real fast right out of the gate, And once this started, and we were 2 weeks into this project, and we started getting the community more involved, and people started to take notice. And I had a couple of friends that went, "You're doing what?" Because you don't have the patience.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, and that Dan laughs, but he knows I'm not exactly the most patient person in the world.
Your employees. You were getting your next employees on board. You were recruiting.
We stayed focused though, and I had good support. So,
good.
And that's what it involved. But in the end, we were if that's what it was going to take, we were going to need students all the way. But in the end, I had a couple of compassionate friends that decided to talk to their bosses that got some serious help on board, and like the Western Construction came to the table, and their supervisor that's building the highway up there says his boss said just send 4 guys there for 2 weeks, and that made a big man. So when that happened, I called Dan again. Hey Dan, I need another dozer. I mean, we need some more equipment. Just like that. He says, what do you need? You know what I mean? I need a truck. And pretty soon we just had stuff showing up, and we put it to work efficiently and safely, and things started really rolling. And then the diesel tech program, they took on the fueling and the greasing and upkeep of the equipment. You know, they actually even would set up the GPS in the mornings for us.
Oh, wow.
And take it back down, you know, and they did all the technical stuff, which is part of their program, their curriculum, which has made them actually hands-on, turn this into something we just talked about on the screen to, we physically have to do this every day. Oh, you missed that greaser. Okay, I need to grease that. So they learn the importance of how to keep things rolling. So when the diesel tech, when them guys go back out in the field, they're going to be much more valuable when they get hired, just because they were able to physically get involved in a program like that helped them, you know. And plus, it gave the diesel tech another option. Like, they never even thought about it. I says, well, you know, you should have it's funny how this developed, because I'm like, well, you should take this piece out here and have a little, you know, dig a ditch, build a pad site or whatever with the equipment, and put it all back together again, you know. And so that ball started rolling on their end of it. And so now, working with Cat, they're going to have that option. And then meeting Kelly was awesome. She is, I think I spent 10 minutes with her, and she's like, yeah, you know, you just go to ask them whatever you need. And I thought, well, what an amazing individual to realize that our community needs something like this, and we can benefit from it. And so,
Yeah, that's the really cool thing about, like, so Western States, our vision statement is building our communities for a better tomorrow.
that's what exactly went down.
Yeah, and it's really cool. I mean, we're getting to be a decent sized organization across several states now and going from there. But it's really cool to see, Dan, how you're still staying connected to that with ISU and delivering upon that here at the local level within Pocatello, right? Because that's what we're hearing about in this conversation constantly, is communities and improving that. So that's absolutely amazing to see and hear and to be a part of that. So let's talk about the cross country track a little bit here. So, Cruz, so how long is the track? What makes it unique and special? What does it mean to the kids? And I don't understand cross country, so maybe give an education on cross country too. That'd be great.
So some of the unique things about the course, and Sam, please correct me if I'm off the mark. You built the course, and just a guy with an idea that pitched it to them, they bought it. But no, it
changed a little bit. It had to.
We've had some adjustments.
But, you know, between the engineering and things, that it just had to change, because it had its ups and downs and parameters. Like, you know, you couldn't raise up, you couldn't climb or descend on 5% anywhere, because they told us, well, if you do that, then their school's only.
Which is exactly why we needed a new course. It was too steep. It was too difficult.
Okay.
And that was one of the main concerns out of the gate was, hey, we got to hit this metric.
But they didn't want to look like a round track inside. It still needed to meander and work. So as we got into it, I mean, between the engineering and stuff, we kind of used the terrain, and we shifted a lot of stuff around. I mean, there's probably half of that course that we did on site, you know, along with, once we got it in a place where we needed it, we had engineering coming and helped us kind of keep our, you know,
Things will stay within our bounds.
yeah. And then, you know, some of that helped with the speed that it got done in, because we were moving less material, and some of it was just, you know, now you got a parking lot over there that you didn't think you was going to have. Yeah.
Well, and that's one of the nice things about it too, because when you talk about, you know, the grade, that was more important factor that we had. Too, the length was the other major one, because the original course, it hasn't really evolved with the sport. The sport has said, hey, you know, you need to be able to run races collegiately, anywhere from 3 kilometer, 5 to 8, 10 kilometer, depending upon how the meet is set up. And our old course did not allow us to do that. It was just a hair over a mile long, essentially. Well, now this new course, we were able to create it where it has 2 loops. If you go a 3 kilometer loop or a 2 kilometer loop, which again, with the varieties that you can do with that, you can hit all of those achievable distances. So if you even are, you know, entered in a 10K race, you can do that out there. If you're doing a 5K or a 3K, that course is suitable for that. Which is also great for, again, the middle school races, the high school races, whatever you want, you can achieve it out there. Previously, that was not the case. So we had to make sure to get that right, and we did. So that was a big one. Then just making sure it was kind of odd to me, but making sure the width was correct. Because of course at the starting line, you've got anywhere from 4, 8, 12, up to 20 teams there. And so your starting line, it's, it almost seems like it's 100-yard long. It's not 100 yards, but it feels quite
huge. They said they wanted 25 teams, and so yeah, there was parameters. Each team has so many meters that they need to have. So I mean, it wasn't just something we just went out there and did a cow trail on. There was technical things we had to hit in order to get it to meet the requirements that were needed. For people for a run or to compete or to bring. Actually, I think it's one of the best courses, cross-country courses in your conference.
Well, so it is the best course in the conference, which is really cool. It's a rarity for any institution to have a cross-country course, but then to have one that meets these metrics where, again, all of these teams, whether they're in the Big Sky Conference or not, they want to come run our course because of that, because you're going to get time, so you're going to have a great experience running it that can then help you qualify for future meets. So we've seen a ton of interest collegially of, hey, we want to come run the course, which we didn't have that beforehand. And then you have teams outside of the conference, just within our region, that want to come up here, run this course. Because again, it's a rarity for anybody in this kind of Intermountain West region to have something like this. I mean, oftentimes you see cross-country programs running on golf courses. I mean, that is kind of the norm now, especially with where we're located, because you don't have schools that have found a way to build the appropriate course. And we have, which again, really good for the community, because again, you're getting people involved in a sport that they might not have otherwise. But you're also, again, saying to our student athletes, hey, we are investing in your sport at a high level. And on the coaches end, and this is one of the biggest advantages we could have. So if we're in a recruiting battle saying, hey, we want Dan Stoddard to come right, just give me a nice, yeah, we're just like, hey, we want you to come here. Well, we've got something now that nobody else has. And so if that's what matters most to Dan or the potential recruit, they're going to come by us here because of it. So we're going to get a lot of recruiting battles because of it.
And the teams will too. So even your competition's going to want to come here, as far as I can tell, because it's easy you can see it. I mean, they can set up on their own in a spot and watch their students run, and it's so easy. I mean, it's not even, I mean, it's just one of the things that it's a distraction to them, I'd assume.
Well, and nothing's left out either. We have a beautiful finish line that, again, like everything else, was donated. Beautiful steel frame. It's matches identically with what we do with our other venues on campus. So it got the right style to it. We have, caliper marker posts out there. We have the right signage.
I've not seen all that.
Well, what's cool is that you walk up, you look at it, and just as a passerby, ISU alignment in that case possible. So, well, it wasn't ISU necessarily, it was the community.
And you've got an engineered running surface, right? They worked on the mixed design for what do we want to build a road, basically. We're going to build, and so they worked with the mixed design on what aggregates to use and how to treat it and how to maintain it going forward. And this course dealt very well with runoff, so the water's going to be controlled to help preserve the longevity of the running surface. So there's a lot that went into it. It's not just a cow trail, like Sam says. It's an engineered running surface that should last for decades.
It was hard to come up. I mean, the parameters they gave us was, we want our cleats to dig into it, but not slip. And so they didn't, I mean, that was basically it. So who's, when you read engineer drawings, they don't say, hey, I want my cleat just to dig in like 1/4 of an inch.
Yeah,
I don't want it to go in 3/8 of an inch. I don't want it to not dig in, you know what I mean? And that's kind of what the parameter was. So we called a few friends that helped us on some materials, and Mickelson's was huge on their part of getting involved with that and say, hey, this material would work. And we went around the gravel pit for, just looking at different stuff, and we'd play with it and see what we needed to do with it. And it was a rainy day that day too, and and then we had to figure out what to mix with it, how thick to get it, because unfortunately, if this was a road that we just build a road out there and put a hard surface on it. It would have been easier to build.
Yeah.
But you wanted to use the natural soils in it to mix with the material in it. And so we had to be careful as we build it to not destroy the course as we build it. I mean, that was one of the hard.
I mean, it's very pivotal with sport cross country, again, to get something that's firm enough. Again, not like you're running on concrete, because then you might as well run track in the first place, but also that you're not running on the beach, because otherwise that's not what we want at all. Again, for that reason, teams would not come race that course if that's how it was set up. So we had to get that right. And it was a little bit of trial and error, but you got
Your grounds people worked tirelessly and figured out, well, what would be the best units, and we came back and with the water truck and you could dig some calcium chloride mixtures and things like that to help them. Hopefully, you do the best you can. Now maintenance wise, we didn't want to build something that when it was left, that the grounds people go, oh, this is such a pain to maintain, and we don't want that, because we knew it just wait, it took too long. So, it's just the other thing that was cool about it is we weren't even quite done. It was junior high, just down the road here. The coach went by, and where is that? Next thing I know, he's out here walking the course. This is cool. I can't wait till my kids get up here on this. And he says, we hold this event down in our school every year. They do a speed cross country. Yeah. And so all the communities come to the same middle school and do this cross country. And he's up there next year. We're in here. Like, he's changed the whole venue and now brought all the middle schools in Pocatello. They'll be doing it on this course.
We're great. Again, back to that recruiting and engagement with ISU start happening, and then the next thing you know, just continue to build on that ISU vision of what you guys are trying to achieve every year. It's absolutely phenomenal. So today we have a meet today, correct? We're flowing. Yeah, first cross country meet today
on this course.
Okay, so let's talk about that.
First official one, anyway. No.
Yeah.
First official, they've run a few trial runs. Coach Kuhn is super excited. It's the Bengal Invitational. And for the first time in many years, we've received strong interest, more than anticipated,
from other programs within the region wanting to come on our course for that reason. They know that it's, again, the fast out there, so they wanted to come do it. You'll see, I think it's 5 or 6 other teams that are kind of us today, because we're going to keep it small, because again, this is the first time through. We need to make sure logistically everything works the way that we need it to. But Coach Kuhn and student athletes are very excited. That program is competing at a very, very high level right now. He's done a great job. He's been here just over a year, recruiting some incredible student athletes, but also, and this is the case with all of our programs here at ISU, coaxing the best out of our student athletes that we have. We kind of came in a little bit late last year, just based on the hiring cycle, and he helped guide the men's and women's program to their best finish combined in over a decade. They're going to be a fun team to watch and just continue to improve. We have a lot of really, really gifted programs in the Big Sky Conference. We were kind of talking on the way over here in northern Arizona, down in Flagstaff. They compete at 7,500 feet elevation, so they get a little bit different training plan than what we get here at a lower elevation. But they, like many other programs, are really good at the sport. And so now with this course, if they're going to from up here compete on it, but then it's also something where our student athletes kind of get to see the R raised with them. And hey, now let's set our sights and see his bigger programs to try and kick this down in the process. But no, very excited for today. It's going to be great to watch our kids compete on our home turf, so to speak. So no, it'll be a great morning.
Cool. I mean, we're a great example. I mean, we look at this thing from end to end, from community involvement and community engagement to build something, and now today get to see it all come together. That's got to feel pretty good today to see that happen and to be a part of it. It's not very often we get to see partnerships come together with a student body or an education firm like ISU is with industry to build something like this.
That does make our communities better for a better tomorrow.
Which is, again, absolutely phenomenal, amazing. So congratulations, you guys. And I'm looking forward to seeing events as well. Thank you guys so much.
I think you'll love, from a community standpoint, the piece of property, and Sam mentioned it's unique. It's on the east side of our valley. It borders some BLM land and some primitive land. It makes a nice buffer between the primitive land and the city. It's beautiful views from it's up on the hillside a little bit. You can see the mountain ranges on all sides in our valley. So the community's going to love to go. It's a beautiful place to just experience Pocatello and go for a walk. And so that's exciting too. And there's wildlife. The wildlife come down off the hill, and you might run into some animals, some critters up there. So it's fun.
You're saying you walk the course. You could run this course too. You know that. But
Some
ran it.
people
I
could
did not.
people could run.
I ran it with a side by side.
Yeah, I don't think I'm running it either. I'm not.
I think I'm gonna fly my drone over it.
That's why I flew my drone too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, cool. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me today on the podcast. I'm excited to see the event out there today. And what a cool story you guys did pulling this thing off and doing it together.
It was fun. It really was fun. Like I say, what's this community's heart for? They really, the guys that got involved really got involved. They didn't do it halfway. They got all the way in, and the needs were met, and it just, like, bless Cat's heart for what they stepped up to do, because that was a big deal. It's a big deal for me. It took a lot of pressure off. I didn't have equipment at all. I just had to worry about getting it done.
This was it.
You know,
True team effort.
but this community really stepped up, and it's a legacy that'll be there longer than most of us will even live, like be alive. And so a lot of the stuff that we do as excavators and construction workers and things that like Cat's been involved with way outlast the people that started, you know. And that's part of the cool factor, I think it is, when you know, that's our stamp on the world, is what we did and what we built and what we'll accomplish. And I think this was just a really cool opportunity to say, hey, this is bigger than me. You know what I mean? And so bless everybody's involvement for doing it. And I just, you know, I'd like to thank my friends that stepped up to the plate. I got some good friends, and I met some more. You know, I didn't know Crew till, you know, this project, and it's been fun. You know,
That's good. Awesome. Well, thank you, Sam, for the contributions you guys have made. And thank you, Dan, for being so involved in Crew, for stepping up and figuring out how to make it happen. It's pretty cool. So
Takes all of us.
very cool. Well, thank you.